I want to start with a sentence you have probably heard in one form or another. You're eating too much protein. Maybe you have also heard that protein is hard on the kidneys, that it is just another wellness trend, or that women in midlife are overdoing it. And whenever nutrition gets reduced to a headline, I get careful, not defensive, careful, because the useful question is rarely, is protein good or bad? The better questions are, for whom, how much, under what circumstances, and compared with what? That matters enormously for women in midlife. A 25-year-old sedentary adult, a 55-year-old woman navigating menopause, a 70-year-old trying to preserve strength, and someone living with chronic kidney disease are not interchangeable populations. Yet online nutrition advice often talks to all of them as though they are. So today, I want to separate what we know from what we think we know, and from what social media has exaggerated. Protein matters, but it is not magic, and it is not the enemy. This video is general education, not individual medical advice. Protein needs vary with age, body size, activity, health status, calorie intake, kidney function, medications, and other factors. If you have kidney disease, liver disease, or you have been placed on a medically supervised protein-restricted diet, please speak with your own healthcare professional before changing your intake. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the STARR Wellness Solutions channel. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful, evidence-based content designed to improve your health, strengthen your mindset, and support you on your wellness journey. By subscribing, you also become part of a growing community committed to healing, transformation, and lasting well-being. Thank you for being here, and remember, small consistent steps can create life-changing results. Now let's talk about what actually has to change. The first correction I want to make is important. Your protein needs do not suddenly change on your 40th birthday. And we cannot honestly say that estrogen decline alone is the reason older women may benefit from paying more attention to protein. The biology is more layered than that. One piece is aging itself. As we get older, skeletal muscle can become less responsive to the anabolic signals that normally help it repair and rebuild. One of those signals comes from dietary protein. Another comes from resistance exercise. Researchers refer to this reduced responsiveness as anabolic resistance. In well-known dose-response work comparing younger and older adults, researchers found that older muscle may need a stronger protein stimulus to maximize the acute muscle protein synthesis response. That does not give every woman one universal meal number. It gives us a biological principle. Older muscle may respond less robustly to the same stimulus. Now add the menopause transition. Estrogen has important actions throughout the body, including in muscle, connective tissue, bone, and glucose regulation. Declining ovarian hormones may contribute to some of the physiological changes women experience during and after menopause. But I would not tell you that estrogen was quietly making every gram of protein work perfectly before menopause and then suddenly stop. That is too simple. What we can say with greater confidence is that body composition changes around the menopause transition are real. Longitudinal research from the SWAN study found that around the final menstrual period, fat mass tended to rise while lean mass declined, even when the scale did not tell the whole story. That is why this conversation is not simply about weight. It is about what you are made of, and that brings us to muscle. I want to completely reframe the word muscle because women have been taught to hear that word and think about aesthetics. Arms, definition, gym bodies, something optional, but skeletal muscle is far more important than that. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. It plays a major role in handling glucose, especially in response to insulin and exercise. And when muscles contract, they do more than move your body. They also release signaling molecules called myokines, which can communicate with other tissues throughout the body. Muscle is not passive, but even that is not the reason I care most about protecting it. I care about carrying your own groceries, lifting a suitcase, getting yourself up from the floor, climbing stairs, maintaining balance, catching yourself when you trip, getting out of a chair without needing to pull yourself up with your arms. The muscle you protect in midlife is part of the physical reserve you carry into later life. That changes the goal completely. We are not talking about muscle simply because we want smaller jeans. We are talking about protecting capacity. And this is where protein and resistance training need each other. Protein supplies amino acids. Resistance exercise supplies a powerful signal for adaptation. Protein alone is not the same thing as protein plus training. And training without adequate nutrition may leave your body with less building material available for recovery. That relationship is one of the most consistent messages in this entire conversation. Protein is building material. Resistance training is the building signal. And resistance training does not have to mean walking into a bodybuilding gym. It can mean dumbbells at home, resistance bands, machines, body weight movements that are challenging enough for your current ability. The principle is progressive challenge. Muscle needs a reason to adapt. That challenge should be appropriate for your health, joints, balance, and experience, and it should progress as you become stronger. That matters because the goal is not to punish the body with exercise. The goal is to give it a clear message. Keep this tissue, I still need it. Then nutrition supplies the materials that support recovery and remodeling after that signal. That is why I do not want you separating the protein conversation from the movement conversation. They are partners. And for women who have spent years thinking exercise only counts when it burns a lot of calories, that is an important identity shift too. Strength work is valuable even when the calorie number on a watch is unimpressive. You are training for capability, not punishment. Now let's move from muscle to bone. For years, one argument against higher protein intake was that protein increased calcium in the urine and therefore must be pulling calcium from the skeleton. That became a very sticky nutrition story, but urinary calcium does not tell us by itself where that calcium came from. Human metabolic research has shown that calcium handling is more complicated than the simple claim that protein leaches calcium from bone. And another piece is often missed completely. Bone is not simply a block of calcium. Bone contains an organic matrix composed largely of collagen surrounded and strengthened by mineral. Think of it as a composite structure. The mineral contributes stiffness. The collagen-rich matrix contributes tensile strength and resilience. Menopause matters here because the decline in estrogen is associated with accelerated bone loss. So the real conversation should not be protein versus calcium or calcium versus exercise. It is adequate nutrition, adequate calcium and vitamin D when appropriate, adequate protein, and mechanical loading through movement, all working together. Protein is not an osteoporosis treatment, but protein is also not irrelevant to the structure you are trying to protect. Now let's talk about hunger, because this is where wellness videos can go off the rails very quickly. You may have heard a chain that sounds something like this. You ate carbohydrates, your blood sugar spiked, then it crashed, cortisol shot up, and now your body is storing fat. That is far too simple for normal everyday eating. True hypoglycemia can activate counter-regulatory hormones, including cortisol. But ordinary hunger after a light breakfast is not the same thing as clinically meaningful hypoglycemia. So I would not tell you that adding protein to breakfast is going to control cortisol. That is not a responsible claim. What protein can do is still useful. Protein-rich meals can support satiety. Controlled feeding studies have shown that increasing protein can increase feelings of fullness and influence appetite-related gut hormones such as GLP-1 and PYY. Protein can also change the glucose and insulin response to a mixed meal. The exact effect depends on the food, the amount, what the protein replaces, and the person's metabolic health. So instead of promising you a perfectly flat glucose curve, I want you to ask a more useful question. Does this meal keep me satisfied? If your breakfast is coffee and one piece of toast and you are ravenous 90 minutes later, that is information. it does not mean you failed. It may mean the meal did not match what your body needed from it. Maybe you add eggs, maybe Greek yogurt, maybe cottage cheese, maybe tofu, maybe beans. Maybe you add a meaningful protein source while keeping fruit, whole grains, or another fiber-rich carbohydrate. We are not declaring war on carbohydrates. We are building a more complete meal. And notice how different that sounds from protein turns off cortisol. That is what evidence-based wellness should sound like, useful, without pretending biology is simple. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where people get confused. The long-standing recommended dietary allowance, or RDA, for protein is about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day for healthy adults. That reference value still exists, but the current 2025 to 2030 dietary guidelines for Americans now lists a broader protein serving goal of approximately 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram per day, adjusted for individual calorie needs. Those two numbers are not identical concepts, and I do not want to pretend they are. The RDA is a long-standing reference intake intended to meet the needs of nearly all healthy adults. The newer dietary guidelines place stronger emphasis on higher protein intake in the context of current food pattern guidance. And expert groups focused on healthy aging have also argued that many older adults may benefit from intakes above 0.8 grams per kilogram, often around 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram per day for healthy adults over 65, with higher amounts sometimes considered in specific circumstances. That is the landscape. It is not a prescription for you. Let's translate the math using a simple example. A person who weighs about 150 pounds weighs approximately 68 kilograms. At 0.8 grams per kilogram, that is about 54 grams of protein per day. At 1 gram per kilogram, about 68 grams. At 1.2 grams per kilogram, about 82 grams. At 1.6 grams per kilogram, about 109 grams. Those are calculations, not personal recommendations. Where an individual should land depends on health status, calorie needs, activity, body size, goals, kidney function, and many other factors. And if you have chronic kidney disease, do not take a general population number from YouTube and apply it to yourself. Kidney disease changes the conversation. Some people with chronic kidney disease who are not on dialysis may be advised to limit protein, while people on dialysis may have very different needs. That belongs with your physician, nephrologist, and renal dietitian. So I want to take the anxiety out of this. Your body does not look at the clock and say, sorry, you missed your anabolic window. Total daily protein matters. Training matters, meal composition matters, and spreading protein across meals may be a practical way to reach your total while giving muscles several opportunities to respond. You may see numbers like 25 or 30 grams per meal discussed in research and clinical conversations. That can be a useful reference point. It is not a law. Body size matters, food quality matters, age matters, training status matters, and plant and animal proteins differ in amino acid composition and digestibility. So instead of asking, did I hit exactly 30 grams, ask something much easier to live with. Where is the meaningful protein source in this meal? That question is especially useful at breakfast. If breakfast is coffee and toast, you do not have to throw the toast away. You can build around it. 2 eggs provide roughly 12 grams of protein. Greek yogurt may provide 15 to 20 grams or more depending on the serving and product. Cottage cheese can provide a substantial amount. Tofu can anchor a savory breakfast. Beans can work. Leftover salmon can work. The goal is not to eat like a bodybuilder. The goal is to stop making dinner carry the entire day. And now I want to talk directly to vegetarian and pescatarian viewers, because protein does not have to come from one type of diet. A pescatarian pattern can include fish and seafood, but it can also include eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, milk, beans, lentils, soy foods, nuts, seeds, and whole grains depending on your preferences. A vegetarian pattern can also provide adequate protein. The key is not to assume that every plant food is automatically a high-protein food. Proteins differ in digestibility and essential amino acid composition. Some plant proteins contain lower proportions of certain essential amino acids than dairy, eggs, meat, or fish. Leucine gets particular attention because it plays an important role in the signaling involved in muscle protein synthesis. But plant-based does not mean inadequate. A well-planned vegetarian or vegan pattern can absolutely provide enough protein. The strategy is sufficient total intake, variety, and choosing foods that actually carry meaningful amounts of protein. That means foods such as lentils, beans, edamame, tofu, tempeh, soy foods, quinoa, nuts, seeds, and for ovo-lacto vegetarians, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and other dairy foods. And we have increasingly useful research here. A recent randomized crossover study in active older adults found that when vegan and omnivorous diets were carefully matched for calories and total protein, the vegan diet did not compromise daily muscle protein synthesis. That does not prove that every vegan diet automatically provides enough protein. It tells us something more practical. A well-designed plant-based diet with adequate total protein can support muscle protein synthesis in older adults. That is a very different message from plant protein doesn't count. Now let's talk about powders. Protein powder has one enormous advantage: convenience. If breakfast is rushed and a shake helps you get a meaningful amount of protein, that can be useful. If appetite is low, chewing is difficult, or convenience is a barrier, a supplemental source may also have a place in some situations. But protein powder is not required simply because you are over 50, and dietary supplements are regulated differently from conventional foods and prescription drugs. So if you use one, read the label, know how much protein is actually in a serving, consider products with reputable independent testing, and do not let a shake crowd out all of your real food. Your diet still needs fiber, plants, healthy fats, micronutrients, and variety. And one more caveat: more is not automatically better. The body does not reward us endlessly for adding more of one nutrient. At some point, more protein may simply displace other foods that also matter. So where do I land on all of this? Don't fear protein. Don't worship protein. Understand what it does. Understand what it does not do. Women moving through midlife are navigating changes in muscle, bone, body composition, activity, sleep, and hormonal physiology. Protein is one part of supporting that changing body. Movement is another. Regulation is another. And identity determines whether you approach all of this from curiosity or punishment. So here's the assignment I want to leave you with. Do not overhaul your entire diet tomorrow. Look at one meal. For many women, breakfast is the easiest place to start because it is often the meal with the least protein. Ask one question: where is my meaningful protein source? Then pay attention. Are you satisfied longer? How is your energy? How is your strength progressing over time? Does the meal work better for your real life? You do not have to turn your kitchen into a laboratory. You do not have to hit the exact same number every day. You do not have to eat chicken out of a plastic container 6 times a day. And you do not have to be afraid of carbohydrates, fish, soy, dairy, beans, or any other single food simply because the internet decided to make it the villain this week. The goal is not obsession. The goal is awareness. That is regulate, then we move. And identity is the piece that says, I am learning what this body needs now. I am nourishing it, I am strengthening it, and I am building for the decades ahead. We are not chasing a smaller body at the expense of a stronger one. Take what serves you, leave the rest. And remember, consistency beats intensity every time. If you want help with the regulation side of the alignment method, sleep, stress, daily structure, and nervous system support, my free cortisol reset checklist is linked below. And if this video helped you understand protein differently, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another woman who needs this conversation. I'll see you in the next video.